everybody? This is Principal Anderson, and we are here with another segment dealing with this book, this great book called The Invisible Ache by Courtney Vance and Dr. Robin Smith. And you guys heard us last week talk about wearing masks, but today I'm with some great guys, and we're actually dealing with the chapter about where do you hurt. And so I'm gonna let them kind of introduce themselves. We'll start over with Tay, and then you just name, and then we'll kind of go forth in the book. But then we'll kind of go forth in just some of the things that jumped out in this book with us this week.
My name Tay. Y'all know. So about
Senior.
I'm a senior. Yeah. You know, we talked on that last.
I know, but just hey, they might not remember you because you had a different angle now.
Yeah, but I'm Tay, so you can't forget me. But no, though, something I think in this book that's jumping out to me is like basically, how to, respect yourself. Being like straightforward or like actually, understanding like how the world like just don't revolve around you. Like it's bigger things out there if you actually like look into it or actually see yourself doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Nice.
I'm Coach Ramey, staff member here, Michelle Clark. I would say being able to open up and digest or open up about what's you've had going on in the past.
Mm-hmm. And how it's impacting you now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sharif Walker, CEO at Bethel New Life. Especially today's discussion about hurt, just realizing all of the spaces that hurt enters into and how it impacts ourselves and our communities is deep. And thinking about all the angles we need to think about in, healing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what struck me.
Yeah, I would step in with you on that because I think for me, when we talk about what is the hurt and just trying to figure out where is the hurt, name that hurt, and then talk about the healing. I think too many times we kind of give like proverbs or statements or good feeling statements to say, this is what you do, but nobody ever tells us the steps to get there.
My name Demarion. I'm a senior. And some days like jumping out to me with this book is like learning to be vulnerable. I feel like I never really learned that. I was always just taught to hold everything in, not face no emotions and stuff. And I feel like with this book, it's like, it's teaching me that like holding everything in, nothing ever gonna get better. Like if you're not able to like identify like some stuff that's wrong with you and work on it, I feel like your mental mindset like will never improve.
That's good.
I'm the late starter because they've been reading.
You're not a late starter. You
book
good
for a while. I got a chapter, so I'm about to go back and finish this book. What impressed me about this whole situation is that we created a space to be vulnerable amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
Have an opportunity to talk about some of the past. Gave me the opportunity to share with young men here that I hurt too.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say how you feel, because if you do that, you give people that care about you and really want to see you do well a chance to point you in the right direction to get help. So thank you, Principal.
Yeah, I think something when you said that was important is that a lot of times they think that when people think that when we're adults and we're in positions, CEO, officer, we don't have pain. We don't, principals, we don't have pain. We don't hurt. And I thought it was really powerful when you talked about your dad and you said that he just was like, you never saw him cry. You never saw that type of emotion. But then that bled over into you not having that type of emotion too, right?
Well, for me, I always said my dad, good dude, great dad. Kind of took a different route after I learned by talking to people in settings and just in conversation that it's okay to cry. I have cried.
But before that, you didn't think it was okay.
You couldn't cry. You better not. Better not cry. Even on this job, people see me go. That hurts too. Because guess what? I'm tired at the same time. So
But you
I'm
can
with
never
you,
get
John.
tired. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then like when he said like, would it being okay to cry? Like, I'm gonna use an example. My granddad, like that was my role model growing up. So looking up to him, I never seen him cry or show no hurt. He was always telling us like, everything cool is good and stuff. Just be you, you know. But he also said like, don't cry. Don't let nobody see you crying. And then when he passed away, I had to be that guy for my little brother. Because I know if he see me hurt, then what that's going to do for him. So then with that, I had to be strong. But then it finally got to a point where, like, it just built up. Then I cried, you know? And then I realized that, like, crying, like, it helped release stress. Because you just crying, you letting out anger, all that. It's just flowing right out with the tears. And then, but now, I'm, like, going back to myself, like, I don't really like crying still.
But you don't like crying because you still feel like it's a sign of weakness, or you don't like crying because just the way like some things I feel like sometimes after I get through with a good cry, I'm like, well, I don't want to feel that way again. Right? I don't want to feel like that again. But I knew it was good for me. I just don't want to do it again.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I think like what he said, like crying, like I feel like that shows, like, to me, I feel like crying in front of people, it shows like a sign of strength. Because it's like it take a lot out of you to, you know, cry in front of, you know, people. So like if you cry in front of people, it's like it's not showing your strength like on the outside, it's showing your strength on the inside. Because like now you know like really like what you can do. Because it's like if you can cry in front of people, I feel like it's showing you like a sign of like where you come from, or like how you feeling. Like you showing people how you really feel. You know, a lot of people like to hide their emotions. But if you bringing your emotions out in front of people, like that just shows you how tough you are.
What'd you say to that, Sheree? Because I feel like you got something to say to that. I felt it.
It's interesting because it's an expression, right? It's an expression of our emotion.
Just like it being happy.
And what do we do when we're happy? We laugh,
Yeah.
we smile, and it's okay. But crying, which always isn't because you're sad.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you're happy and you cry. Sometimes you're angry and you cry. It's just an expression. And so I think once we get past the sticking point of we're men and we're not supposed to cry, it's more about realizing why. What's the why in there?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's happening in our lives? What is this point that is bringing me to tears? And what does that mean to my life? You know,
Like having a grandbaby.
I'm telling you.
You know, you just became a granddad.
3 months old
Congratulations.
yesterday.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, 3 months old yesterday. And yeah, that's one of those moments where you're happy, you're joyful, you're a whole lot of emotions. And I think, to me, that's where tears come from. It's all of these emotions that don't know what to do, that are just like, okay, I'm going to release these little tears.
Yeah.
You know?
And being that proud, like, this is the next part of me, right? This is my next generation. And I think the thing is that we don't think about, like, I remember one teacher said to me, you know, before I had my son, I was like, I'm gonna treat him like I was treated when I was growing up. I'm not gonna be kissing on him and hugging him. He said, now every day I kiss him, you know, every day I gotta tell him something that I love him. And he said it's the best feeling in the world. But he said he didn't think he would do that because now he wants his son to grow up being able to understand his emotions and being able to, you know. And when he said it, I think about, like, man, what would we be like as black men if we grew up being like able to be in touch with emotions, you know, those parts of us? Because how many things would we have not, that we would have done, and maybe things that we wouldn't have done because of those things, you know, like even in just personal relationships, you know, that we wouldn't have done.
I'll say this. My dad didn't tell me he loved me till I moved.
So you moved out the house?
Till I moved to Chicago.
Oh, that's right, okay.
I came up here in 06. So, I say by, I think 2009, 10. That's when I heard him say he loved me. Now he tells me all the time when I talk to him. So that was different. I had to like, okay, he never said that. So,
Right. So what's going on with him?
What's wrong with this dude here tripping?
Yeah.
And then I had to become comfortable in saying I love you too. Now that was a change within me. I tell my mom, my mama's boy. So
I'm sure we all say it to our mamas.
Mama's easy,
Right. Because they the nurturing ones.
They nurtured me. She took care of me. Everything I needed. And I was cracking joke, but I was serious. We used to eat cereal, no milk. For real.
And can you say that word one more time for people who didn't know what you was?
That's Memphis.
That's Memphis.
That's straight
Milk?
milk.
That's Memphis.
I'm
there.
straight. When I grew up in South Memphis, young Dolph. I tell you now, to see that struggle and come from that struggle to where we moved to another neighborhood, we kept increasing.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, my mom didn't really show no pain. My mom, I'm a boy, so she gonna take care of baby.
Right.
But I'm gonna add something that I'd be wrong not to add. Find some religion, Christianity, whatever you want to find a way to put a higher power in your life. That will help you go a long way. I'm not a Bible pump, I'm telling you that. I'm not. I'm still learning as I go to dive deeper into it. But a lot of the relief that you might need is in that book. And I keep it right there.
Well, some of it is about just figuring out that I didn't do this all by myself.
Right.
I think sometimes people think, wow, he got it all together. He did this. But when you stop, you're like, I didn't do this by myself. I had my mom. I had my dad. I had my sisters. I had, I had teachers. I had, you start thinking of all the people that planted something in you. Mm-hmm. And then when you talk about religion, it was the hope. Because back when we were enslaved, we had hope, if nothing else. And so that hope pushed us to say it's going to get better. Things are going to get better,
Know your history. Know how if you don't do anything, learn about the Miller Passage. That's the school teacher coming out of me.
Yeah.
Read the Miller Passage. Read about the Miller Passage. Some people are not here because of the sacrifice they were willing not to accept coming to a new land. And if you are here, your ancestors made it through the Miller Passage.
And they made a space for you to be here, which I want to jump into something that Sharif said earlier too, when I was saying, like, the problem is sometimes we don't know where we hurt because we're not at the table. Mm-hmm. We don't know that we don't belong, but we don't know the message that people are putting out about us. And so sometimes if they saw all of us sitting somewhere, they probably ain't up to no good. Or what are they doing? The police got them, right? I remember when I first got here and the police would all show up because we were doing like events, and I would get calls from, there's a bunch of police at Michelle Clark, what's happening? Because that was what our mentality made us think, because somebody put that message out that if you see the police, it's something wrong. If you see a bunch of guys standing on the corner or talking, it's something wrong. And so I remember you saying, like, because the world wasn't for us, but I don't want to put everything that you said in that.
No, there's a couple things there. I think one of the things that I think a lot about is how we tell as men our stories to younger men, because I think a lot of times it's hard for them to see where we came from.
Yeah.
And if they were able to see where we came from, they know that there's a hope. For some of us, if they saw where we came from, they know there's hope for anybody. I lived in a 3-flat. I grew up in a 3-flat. My dad and mom divorced when I was 7. Mm-hmm. I had a perfect family till I was 7 years old. And then the rug was pulled, and it was like, to me, it felt like the end of the world. But everything that happened after that didn't seem like a struggle. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like that's how you lived. You talk about eating cereal without milk. We ate on a different floor in our 3-flat every night.
Wow.
And all single moms lived on every floor.
Wow.
And so one would cook, and everybody went to the other one to eat. And it was regular for me. I didn't know. I didn't know
everybody did that.
I just thought my mama didn't want to cook,
Right.
you know. But that was how they provided for the family. We got to eat downstairs today. It wasn't it didn't feel like a lot of this is hindsight for us, right? We're talking about the experiences we remember and how we interpret them as adults. But that wasn't the interpretation when we were kids. We were just living, trying to figure out what, you know, how we was gonna make that peanut butter sandwich or whatever it was to eat that day before we went outside. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all of these things that feed into
our psyche.
Our psyche.
Do you think we could do that? Do you think we could go back to not having it?
It's not gonna happen.
No, I'm saying, okay, let me just say,
could we do it?
Could you do it now?
Oh yeah, I definitely could. You know,
because they've never been without it. We've been without it before.
Hold on now, because I was just gonna speak on that topic. See, I feel like for us, like what I could speak on, I feel like the generation I grew up in, like we the last of like kids that was like going outside to playground.
That's real.
Playing in the playground. You know, like we had stuff, but it was like we was like still outside, like electric scooters, hoverboards, stuff like that. Like we still had stuff that we can exactly. We still had stuff that we could go outside and play on. Like we're not part of it. Well, we're part of it, but like we're the older part of the generation that's coming up now with the cell phones and stuff like that. But we also are part of the generation where it was safe to go outside. Like you could play in parks. You can go to the park, get on monkey bars, swing, stuff like that, play tag. Like we experienced that too. But it's like for the generation now, it's like we're the older generation of, you know, like the cell phone, new technology and stuff like that. Like it's stuff that we don't know with new technology too. Like we know stuff with technology, but it's like the stuff that's coming up, we don't know. We don't know some of that stuff either.
I think we can go back. I don't know if you guys remember 2 years ago, well, our phones weren't working for like 24 hours. We couldn't go on the internet. That was.
I remember when TikTok went out.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
But I add that to, we have to make sure we start our kids off with not being totally into technology and iPads and whatnot. I went to church a couple weeks ago and I saw about 5 rows of kids with just iPads and headphones, 2-3 years old. So we're already teaching them the wrong model right there.
I don't think we can go back because I only remember 2 or 3 numbers. Telephone numbers.
That's a whole nother piece too. Cause
I don't, I'm certain.
Like I know my mom and dad's number because it's been their number since we were kids. Like,
Right.
But if you start asking me like other people's number, I'm like, there was never a reason to memorize those numbers.
But my mom and dad still use a phone book. They still
Write it down.
still use a phone book. And that's history. And you can go, I looked at it last time I was at home. They still go to it. Even though my mom has a cell phone, my dad, he doesn't have a cell phone, and I kind of have to get on him because
You want him to have
I
one.
want him to have one because he'll go on the farm, he'll go out and don't have a way to make a phone call.
Yeah, but for years we didn't have to make nobody thought about that when we were in high school that you really need a cell phone because it might be dangerous.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying, but it's a new time of day now. Now, like, you need that phone. You never know what could go down or what situation you get in. Like, sometimes you need that phone to make some type of phone call.
I'm with him on that.
Yeah, cause when I was growing up, I ain't need no phone outside either.
Yeah,
Cause I knew what time to come in.
You see them lights.
Okay.
You see them lights.
Everybody knows street light.
Yeah,
Do you feel like that was a trigger? Did that hurt? Knowing if you didn't make it home before the street light, when the street light came on.
for sure.
For sure. I'm gonna say like we'd play tag or something, but we'd be like down the block. Like, so one time I got in trouble. The street lights came on. I'm at the back door. I'm just thinking about a story I'm finna tell about why I'm late. I'm out there for like 20 minutes, making it worse, thinking about what I'm finna say.
Even later then.
Now, even later, and they ain't believe not one story I told. And I was in trouble for a week.
No, it was bad for me. I mean, the park was right across the street from the house, so it was like you could hear my name. So it's like everybody know my mama finna come out. She yelling. You know everybody making fun of me, laughing at me. You know they hear my name. I'm like, oh yeah.
Did she do your whole name, like the middle name?
Nah, she called her nickname. It was over with. But it was chill though, cause when you come in the house, the street lights came on. You got food. You got good food waiting on you. So it was chill.
Oh yeah, I want to go back to what Tay was saying with the kids growing up now. I got a little cousin. I think he about 9 or 10, and he don't know how to ride a bike without training with. That blew me away because like when I was like, I learned how to ride a bike at like 4 or 5. All of us had bikes. We used to go on bike rides and stuff.
Yeah, because now they got scooters. Well, I don't even see people with hoverboards anymore.
Nah.
So I yeah. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys sharing with us. Next week we'll have another one and we'll have some more conversation. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
You know, you like the man of wisdom. You granddad with wisdom now.
Oh no, not that guy.
Not that guy. You know, you're the guy that you say, I don't want to be like him when I get old.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're that guy. Let me see what I'm gonna say about Sergeant Brown. What are we gonna say about Sergeant Brown?
You know, when he first came in the day before we started the thing, he had that forceful, strong, police voice.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we started having this conversation.
Because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to
mellow,
around him because
the mellow.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Don't wait too late next time.
Don't wait too
late.
late.
Don't wait too late. I can get into it, and just remember this: don't let the uniform fool you. We are people.
That's what I'm speaking to. That's exactly.
We are people underneath. Thank y'all for having me.
So thank you guys. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. So see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.